Super excited. Um, I had I have an interesting dilemma here in the studio where my positioning uh, from my monitor, I'm a good 2 feet when I have my wheel set up because I've got a stand that has my wheel on it and my pedals, and I move that stand up to my desk when I'm driving. That way, I don't disturb my flight ecosystem, right? So my flight ecosystem is the Thrustmaster Warthog setup, crosswind rudder pedals, all on the ground. And the neat thing is, none of that has to move so that I can drive, right? So that I can drive, I just simply move the stand forward, and that's that. And I'll gladly show you guys that setup as well. But you see here, I move my driving setup forward, right? And that allows me to quickly switch between driving setup and flying setup. The downside to that is distance from the keyboard, right? So you can see my keyboard is it's way over there in the distance, a good diagonal from where the wheel is. So doing things like hitting enter to load a trailer, or doing things like holding down enter to load a truck isn't very practical. It's not very practical because I've got to do quite a bit of reaching across in order to get to those keys. So I started doing some research on what kind of devices are out there to help me solve this problem. The problem was accessibility. The wheel itself that I have, the Thrustmaster TX Leather Edition, has some buttons on it, but they're not the most convenient buttons. And additionally, I aim to put a real steering wheel on here that would render those buttons almost unusable, right? Because the real steering wheel's diameter is a bit larger, uh, and the conversion plate potentially could cover some of these switches. So I'm going to lose some directional control from the steering wheel itself. Um, it Keyboard input control, not directional as it's steering. So that posed a problem. Started doing a research to see what's out there, and I came across this from my man Jeff Favignano, my friend. Yes, sir, indeed. Shout out to you for posting about this bad boy and um, doing a couple YouTube videos showing it off. And I knew it was everything I needed. This box contains a key ignition switch to start up the truck that is actually keyed, right? So it's actually keyed. Um, Air supply valve switch, parking brake, horn switch, display switch for the views, wiper switch, a take job button, light controls, cruise controls, the Jake brake, engine brake, high beams, all sorts of stuff. But there's some bonuses in this too. It's backlit, which means at night when I'm cruising, it's gonna look cool. Immersion means I don't have to reach across anymore. I can just simply reach over to the little box and control things where they would be in a real truck. Um, there is also another little bonus on this one. It has attached a CB mic. So that's super exciting as it has a CB mic attached to it. Let's get to the opening of the box, shall we? I think this is what everybody's here for, right? It's kind of like the first impressions. And those watching on YouTube, you will have to forgive the very loose format of this stream, as it is intended as a live stream for our supporting patrons of the channel. Without those guys, we wouldn't be able to get all these nice toys and do what we're able to do here content-wise. So a big thank you goes out to them. They get these exclusive streams live before you see them here on YouTube. So, first impressions. Nice packing. I didn't have to worry about stabbing it with the X-Acto knife, as you see. No worries. isn't anywhere near there. So we're going to get rid of these peanuts. Peanuts are always fun. I wish we did have foam, though, instead of peanuts, but I would say on the ranking of complaints, that's just peanuts. Get rid of the peanuts. It's like a little surprise for you. And we'll get to the box. Get that out of there. Well packaged. Anything else down there? We'll get the box out of the way. Nothing else down there. We'll get the box out of the way. Ta-da! So here it is. We'll now crack this open. Little straggler peanut there. Some bubble wrap action. Ooh, got it all protected. Some bubble wrap on this end. All right, let's get to it. Get our packing slip out of there. All right, little tape getting caught there. There we are. There we go. It's getting caught on those screws on the back. I'll show those in a moment as well. So there you go. Wow. A beautiful piece of kit. There's some nice weight to this. Good solid plastic build. Not the cheap shiny stuff. This is nice. This is real nice. So we've got lights, we've got the cruise control. These are kind of like those steel or those aluminum milled switches. This is a really nice solid plastic switch. This is very similar to what you find on old audio mixers and audio amps as well. This type of a nice plastic switch. Your on off for accessories. Some real nice metal switches for dropping an axle or a cruise or your beacons. Some larger ones for engine brake and high beams and attaching a trailer or the flashers. Mr. Sparks Smudge, if you're out there, the flashers, an important one. So Sparks always yells at me live on stream saying that I need to turn on my flashers when I enter the yard. And I told him the reason I don't is because I didn't have a button left on my steering wheel to bind the flashers. Well, now I don't have to worry about that. I've got flashers right here. So no excuse anymore, right, Sparky? No excuse. A nice green fuel switch. That's for refueling. Just kind of hold it down. Parking brake. Real nice. Pop out. Pop back in. Same thing. Pop out, pop back in. Now these are screw on as well. And I'll get to that in a little bit. The ignition key, as I said, this is actually keyed. So this key you don't want to lose. That's actually keyed to this lock, and that's a nice proper metal shaft. That's the real deal. A beautiful little touch here from the folks over at A.S.P. The Sky Lounge wings, not only on the keychain itself, but on the panel also. And that's beautiful. So the deal with that is it's got to be two colors if you go with that option. And I don't know whether that option is available to everyone. And I don't know if we're going to have the Sky Lounge ones in the store yet, but I think that there has been some interest in the Discord. So if you guys are thinking that might be a good idea, make sure to type there in in the YouTube chat. But I do love the way that the wings translate over to this box. I think it's really, really just very clean and refined. Also on the keychain, I mean that's just awesome. And it's not those 80s 1980s plastic keychains either. That's aluminum. That's an aluminum keychain. Sky Lounge on one side, ASP on the other side. That's advancedsimulatorproducts.com. Advancedsimulatorproducts.com. That's where you get this box if you're looking to pick one up as well. Let's move on to the second package. Well, first, let me show you the back. So I went with a VESA mount option. All right, this is a single USB connector into your machine, and then there's a standard VESA mount configuration on the back end. So if you want to mount this on your desk on a VESA mount, you can get one of the short VESA mounts and mount this onto your desk. In my scenario, I'll be mounting it bottom mount, and I was thinking that I probably should have said that ahead of time so that they could mount these posts on the bottom side for me, and I can just screw them on in here. And I'll show you exactly where I intend on mounting this myself. My steering wheel has this beautiful stand right next to it, which positions it exactly where I would want it to be. So drive, all the switches just directly over to the side of it. I think it's an absolutely perfect place for it. And so I need a bottom mount option. So my thought is to get to those VESA mounts that poke out the back, what I'm going to do is an L bracket that goes up and that picks up the two VESA mounts on the back. Additionally, I think I will also try taking this bracket to become a 90-degree and mounting it this way and see if I can work it that way. So we'll see. We'll see. We do have some options with that. Very nice. Daryl, how are you? So let's take a look at what else we have in the packaging. Another bag. This one has the CB option, and this I'm assuming is the CB microphone. A genuine Uniden microphone. Little piece of dust on that. That's a genuine Uniden microphone, CB mic, that clips on over here to the side. This is so great. Standard clip mount. It is fully functional as well. So it's got a 4-pin. If I'm not mistaken, that's going to be a 4-pin XLR. And that looks to me like a 4-pin XLR that'll mount straight into the box here, straight into here. And what that does is I'm assuming inside the box it's feeding the phantom power required, unless this one doesn't need phantom power, but it's feeding the XLR into just your standard single USB cable. So this will drive all the switches, this will drive the lighting, this will also drive the audio input. So that is very, very cool. I believe that that's how that is. Unless, hold on, I could be wrong. Unless that audio cable is required. In which case, if that audio is required, that's still not a bad fix at all, because they have made sure that you have everything you need to make that happen, including a sometimes painful to get, thanks to Radio Shack going out of business, sometimes painful to get 3.5 to 3.5 male to male, very long cable, which is absolutely amazing to include in the packaging. Definitely going the extra mile with that. They're making sure that you have everything you need. A super long USB. This looks to be like perhaps 6 feet. I'm not sure. Welcome to Evil PC Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. That is them, the creators of this wonderful, wonderful box. This looks to be about a 5 foot. Yeah, about a 5 foot USB. And let's measure that to the audio because essentially is going to be going to the same source, right? Your PC, ideally. So looking like, yeah, you've got about 2 feet more of audio. So 10-foot audio, 10-foot audio cable. Very, very, very nice. So everything you need is right there. What I will be doing is kind of working these two cables together into a small little conduit so that they snake together down the side of my setup. And I'll show you what I've done already with mine. If you take a look here, I have just some temporary zip ties holding that there because the black ones that I had were not long enough. But those zip ties will be replaced with black ones. But if you look really carefully, here is all of the wiring. It's all going down. It's all hitting the very bottom of the brace and scooting through the back under the pedals, and it comes out behind my PC, behind Black Betty back there, and plugs all in nice and neat. Nice and neat. So I'll be doing the same thing with the cabling from this box. So the cool thing about this audio input is it is a separate audio input, right? That means you can assign it. You can assign it if you use a software mixer. For example, I use VB Meter Banana, and that gives you multiple channels of inputs. You can assign it to become your master input if you like. It can be your master input microphone if you'd like that to be the case. Maybe that's what I'll do for a little immersion. Now, granted, you're not going to get the CB sound. Remember that actually is CB. That crackly radio sound comes from the fact that the radio signals are going through the air. You're not going to get that through here. This is going to be a nice direct input. But maybe for that immersion, because I don't talk too much during my streams, I will make this the primary mic for trucking, which could be really cool. If I'm not mistaken as well, the push to talk, this button will register. You may need additional software for it to register, however, because if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be seen as just like an additional keyboard type button. But you may need additional software to get that to register as your push to talk. As far as lighting goes, it's going to be a little bit difficult here to showcase the lighting in the daytime. It's so bright in here right now. But I'll tell you what I can do. I would be happy to plug this in now and let you see how it looks. And I can't black it out more than that, but we've got the blue lighting on this unit. And as you can see, it's all backlit all around the edges. And look at that, even in the daytime, dude, we have 4 floor to ceiling windows back here facing this thing, and you can see the blue. Fantastic. It also shines out through the sides because this faceplate is magnetically held on, and I'll talk about that in a second also. But it also shines out through the sides a bit. What I believe that I'm going to do with my unit, depending on how bright it is, because our bedroom is located over here on the side, and I try and kind of reduce the amount of bleed of light, I may take a strip of electrical tape along the inside edge, just along the inside edge there, to block that amount of light from coming through the outside edge, kind of retaining everything to just behind the dials. So fun little mod. I'll let you know if I actually do it. It really depends on how much light bleed there is through the side. Now, regarding versatility, one of the things that I really like about this unit is the fact that, guys, these are just button inputs, right? These are switches and buttons. They're assignable to pretty much anything you use. Therefore, you can also order additional faceplates and switch out for example, a racing faceplate for when you do project cars. You can switch out a flight sim faceplate for when you do flight sim. Could you imagine one that has your gear and your lights and landing lights and stuff like that printed onto it? Your battery, your generators, all of that type of stuff dialed in right in here in the same box. So all you have to do is switch it out. Really versatile in that sense. However, one bit of warning that if you get the heavy hauler one, which is this particular box, the heavy hauler comes with these two accessories here. They need to be removed by twisting off, I believe it is. Yeah, they twist off. So that you have that one little added extra step. If you're going to change that faceplate, you're going to have to twist these off to get them off first. But they do have other editions that don't have these types of switches built in, where you can just literally just peel off one faceplate, pop on another, and that's all magnetic. All magnetic, super, super easy, really cleanly done. Just like that. Very CQ noob calling 1-9er. Anybody on frequency? What's up, Jacob? Welcome, welcome. So yeah, guys, what do you think? Now, there is going to be a discount code posted as well on this video. And in talking to the folks at A.S.P, we're going to make that code available to everyone, not just patrons this time around, ladies and gents. However, it will be limited to 10 uses. So the first 10 to grab this using our code will have a 10% discount applied to their purchase as well. 10% discount applied to their purchase as well. AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, incredibly well built box. Incredibly well built box. Tonight we will be going live with this on Twitch if I'm able to get it mounted to my satisfaction. And just to give you guys a little bit of a preview of where we'll be mounting this, let me take the camera over here and show you guys. This is the intended placement for the box. So that way we have the steering wheel and the box right next to it mounted up. So this is going to be fantastic. It really will be. The clearance is absolutely perfect. The convenience factor is totally there. I just need to navigate getting the VESA mounts on the back into an L bracket that also connects down here so that it doesn't move. So super exciting. It'll be super awesome to sit down and put in my key and turn my truck on and to have it right there. That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. A big thanks goes out to Mr. Jim. Thank you for the key, sir. AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. And if you guys yell loud enough, we might get the Sky Lounge overlay posted on the store. That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you guys so much. A big shout out to all of the patrons that made this possible. It's your help that makes wonderful things like this a reality here on the lounge. I look forward to trucking with this and using it on stream and doing a lot less reaching over to my keyboard way over here in order to do the simplest things like refuel. Thanks again, guys, and Sky 5.